The CEO of one of the world's biggest and largest fertilizer companies warning of significant food inflation in Asia if the Strait of Hormuz remains blocked into the summer. The crisis has already cut 30% of global urea exports. Earlier, CNA's Roland Lim spoke with Ahmed Al-Hoshi of Fertiglobe, who's resorted to using trucks to move the product out of the Gulf.
We are looking at a fertilizer crisis. We're over 2 months in to the Strait of Hormuz being effectively closed. You have 30% of global urea exports, which is the main nitrogen fertilizer that goes through the Strait of Hormuz. That is effectively shut. That's 30% of global supply. Then you have some indirect supply that's been impacted. So even, gas exports out of the Strait of Hormuz are over 20%. So India has been able to get the gas that it needs to run its plants. So you've even had domestic production in India come down. So a lot of direct and indirect knock-on effects for the global supply chain. And I don't think it's just a matter of logistics. We also see that some plants have been down in Iran and other GCC countries. So there's less product being produced at the same time. So this is a very serious situation as it continues to go on. And it will have repercussions on the supply of nitrogen fertilizer to growers and the crop yields that we see after their seasons for harvesting, which can result in significant food inflation. And that's why it's so important that we try to get this vital waterway open to be able to get fertilizer to the growers.
You mentioned that Bangladesh gets half of its fertilizers from the Gulf, that it's a big customer of yours. India's subsidy bill already exploding. Would it be fair to say that Asia is actually slow walking into a food crisis?
I think the Indian government's doing a good job of continuing to subsidize the fertilizer and sourcing it. It just sourced in a couple of weeks ago 2.5 million tons of fertilizer, which is great for the Indian farmers to make sure that they have what's needed. I know there are discussions, for example, in Australia of getting support to the agricultural space to be able to buy fertilizers, similarly in the United States. So I think government-led programs, while they don't solve the problem, can help solve or help ameliorate the issues by trying to improve the situation for farmers who are seeing, yes, grain prices a bit elevated, but nowhere close to the elevation that their crop input prices have gone.